Welcome to Between the Covers. We're the show for readers and writers and lovers of books. I'm Stephanie Larkin, an author, book developer, and publisher at Red Penguin Books. If you have a book inside of you that's been dying to get out for a decade, or maybe a manuscript ready to go, just please visit Red Penguin Books and unleash your inner author. Well, we've got here on the couch today two authors who managed to unleash themselves. So please welcome our guests, Mark Torres and Robert Bryan. Thank you. Now, since Between the Covers is not just an interview show, it's actually a book club, and we're on the Align Book Club. So here is a library card.
Wonderful.
And if you would like to join the Between the Covers Club, please visit BetweenTheCoversTV.com and sign up there. You'll be receiving free digital books, book recommendations, notices about all of our authors and what they're doing, and all sorts of things. So that's BetweenTheCoversTV.com. So, besides writing, do you both like to read? I hope so.
I am an author, so I'm an attorney, so I do a lot of reading naturally through work. So reading for pleasure is difficult at times.
Okay, but attorney reading sounds like...
Yes. And it is. And so is the writing as well. But it is difficult to find a good book that's going to capture me, and I finally found a few, and I'm pleased with that.
Okay, so what are you reading right now?
Currently I'm reading The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Phenomenal story.
It certainly doesn't sound like light reading, by the way.
No, it doesn't. And he's a phenomenal author. And what I'm noticing now, as being an author myself, is I'm also noticing the style. It's not just reading the story for pleasure anymore. It's understanding the style and seeing how he or she had written, and then kind of emulating it and perhaps
Yeah, well, that's why
capturing it.
Stephen King says that if you want to be a good writer, you have to be a great reader.
That's true.
So what have you learned from this? Well, of course, this is a Pulitzer Prize-winning book. I hope they knew what they were doing.
Yes, very well researched. Although it's a tad on the fictional side, but it's surrounding around the time of the slavery and the slavery era. Very
So you're a
harrowing
history
story.
buff.
Yeah, I am. I'm a history buff. History undergrad and went to law school, so history's part of my profession all the time.
Love that. Okay, so recommendation just to history buffs or to all of us?
All of it. It's a very important historical era. I think
Okay.
I would recommend it to everyone who gets a chance. It's excellent writing, very harrowing story, and very compelling.
Okay, so it's the end of the summer. We don't need those light summer reads on the beach. We can start to actually think about things.
Yeah.
Robert,
Dig
what
deep.
about you? What are you reading or recommending to us?
It sounds like we both read the same type of genre. I like to read historical nonfiction, and particularly early American. Right now I'm reading Nathaniel Philbrook in The Hurricane's Eye. This actually takes a look at during the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Yorktown, and it emphasizes the importance of the naval operations with that battle. And Nathaniel Philbrook, I've read just about all of his books. He Bunker Hill, also with the Revolutionary
Yes,
War,
yes.
also which was what I think is one of the best books on Custer's Last Stand, called The Last Stand.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, and aside from that, I'm not really, it may seem odd, I'm not really into reading a lot of police.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But one of them.
You'd rather write it than read it.
Robert Daly, Prince of the City, is I think it's an excellent work, and I also find, like Moncton, I find when I'm reading, it's hard not to think of it stylistically now as to what how I can improve in what I'm doing based on the style of what I'm reading.
Fantastic. And any tips that you've gleaned just from reading that you say, oh, next book, let me think about this or something?
Well, I'm not about to, although I have written one break from, I'm amazed with the research that's done. It's one thing where, mostly I write police procedurals, and in a lot of ways it's cheating because I've lived that life. I have so much respect for authors who, especially when they're writing in a different time period, and they're able to do this research and make the subject come alive. I wrote I dabbled into one area where I wrote a book on the history of railroad conductors, and it was, inspired by my son is a Long Island Railroad conductor.
Really?
And I did a lot of research into that, and that is what really has me respecting people that do research-based books, because there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the lawyer over here will tell you that.
And I'll tell you, I echo your sentiment on the research. In fact, although my work's fiction, I pride myself on the research that I do. Going to sites.
Going to sites, that's kind of fun.
Researching, and even when you're struggling, I found when I'm struggling at, kind of the writer's block, if you will, I go back to my research and I get lost in the research and I come out much more stronger, reinvigorated.
Right.
And I help really finish out the product that way. So it's important. The research is just vital, because I like to be authentic. Again, my lawyer training, everything about me. I'm not going to write and just accept the reader to accept that. I want to write something that's researched, that's well vetted, even though it's a fictional setting. All of it is research that has taken place, or can certainly have taken place. So it's important to fall back on that research.
Fantastic. I love that. Well, if you've been reading a whole lot of books and you've got any books left over that maybe need a new home, we are very proud supporters of the Book Fairies. The Book Fairies collect books all over Long Island. They collect over 50,000 books every single month, and they distribute them here on Long Island to different schools. I'm completely disheartened to know that there are school districts right here that don't have budgets for libraries for their students. So the Book Fairies open their warehouse one day a month so that teachers can just take them out, as many as they want, just by the truckful. They also ship books into prison facilities and across the pond to libraries in Africa. So if you ever want to drop off your books here on a Wednesday night, you get a free glass of wine, or visit thebookfairies.org. I know I have two very smart gentlemen here on the couch, so you're not allowed to give the answer, but we do have a book quote question for the day. So let's see if our audience knows. Because it was summer, I picked a quote that had something to do with summer. Bobby, do we have that quote there? All right. And if you know the answer to this, it's multiple choice, folks. We can do this. The phone number to call in, please, is 516-945-9099. And our book quote for the day is, "And so, with the sunshine and the great bursts of leaves growing on the trees, just as things grow in fast movies, I had that familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer." Is that quote from The Great Gatsby, Tuck Everlasting, Charlotte's Web, or To Kill a Mockingbird? Give it some thought. Give us a call here at the studio at 516-945-9099. You can win a free book. And while you're thinking about it, we're just going to hear a word from our sponsors. Thanks so much.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website www.redpenguinbooks.com.
Let's go. Let's go. friends with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. Yes, leave your beard, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy,
1.
Daddy! Daddy. Ash, Mommy.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Welcome back to Between the Covers. Thanks so much. I'm so delighted to have with us author Robert Bryan, who evidently has been very, very busy writing. Most recent book, Dark Nights 4, The Dark Humor of Police Officers. Ooh, tell us about your author journey. How did you get to be writing all of these books?
I think like most police officers, they feel they have a book inside of them. And I had a 20-year career with the New York City Police Department. I retired as a captain. And when I retired, I started writing a book. I had read somewhere, I forget where, I wish I could give the proper credit to it, but I'd read somewhere that a good book is based on either a unique subject or a unique experience. And I face facts. I had a very good career, but I did not have any great big, cops and robbers solve the murder of the century.
You might say that, but I'm sure it's much more exciting than most of our normal days.
But I did have 2 years a period when I was a lieutenant where I was drafted into the Internal Affairs Bureau. And that 2 years was a very, very unique experience. There's a lot of media, whether it be print or whether it be on TV or movies, that dealing with detective work, police work in general, but not a lot on the aspect of internal affairs, police corruption. So I wrote my first book based on that 2-year experience. And
which is your first?
That's actually not in the pile. I don't
not
think
in the
there.
pile. I have a pile this high, and that one's not even in the pile.
That's called C Case because that's the name of a case that's given to internal affairs, a corruption case, a C case. But I started that book probably about 10 years ago, and I'm always been very good at starting things, not so great on finishing things, and finally, though, I actually, this is now going probably about 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago, I finished it. And I don't know, it was like floodgates opened up. I finished that and I just can't stop writing.
Wow.
And that's where I decided also I wanted to get into this aspect of humor with the police department, because I think that this dark humor is very important because it's a very stressful job. And their humor is one of the most important coping mechanisms that exists in the job.
Absolutely right.
And without it, it's there's no release. And I think that's why I use the term Dark Nights for this series, because the correlation between medieval knights and police officers, and plus the dark with the dark humor, because cops can find something funny about just about anything, and it might seem to the average person, it might seem very morbid, very tragic, but yet, and it is, but yet in some ways,
Right.
there's still some humor that's
get
by
that.
necessity found in it. So I just started with Dark Nights. I got into the second book in the series where it deals with the Border Patrol, because before I went onto the police department, I spent 2 years out on the Mexican border as a Border
Oh,
Patrol
wow.
agent. So I did those. I did.
You've had a
book on
lot of
those years.
experiences.
And
yes.
then actually the final one, Dark Nights 4, I had been for a couple of years, I had been an instructor at the police academy. So that's really just honing in on
Police academy.
both as when I was a recruit and then also when I was during the times I was an instructor also.
Right. Very cool. Tell me a little bit about why me? The question, the crime victims.
This is there's a companion book with that, The Active Shooter. These are, these are not meant to be entertaining. No, these books are talking about what things people can do to protect themselves, both as in crime victimology in general and also in the other books specifically in situations. It's unfortunate that we have to have topics like this, but in mass shooting incidents, the actions that somebody takes in those first few seconds can be absolutely crucial to life and death. And situational awareness is one of the most important things, one of the most important topics that I think anybody can really get a grasp on. And it's something that is very, very simple, but yet people overlook it quite a bit, of just being aware of what's going on around you. I mean, if you ever are with a cop and you go into a restaurant, I will guarantee you that cop will just instinctively sit where he's looking at, or she is looking at the door, being able to get as best view of what's going on around, because there'll be those seconds where if something was to happen, that knowledge of it before hearing a shot or hearing a commotion can be crucial.
I'll bet. I have other books here I want to ask about besides the Dark Nights
Oh, I did bring
series.
CKs.
You did. You did.
That's the first book.
That's the first book. Look at that. And a Public Safety Writers Association award winner. Thank you. Love that. The Demon Within. That's quite a cover.
This is my foray into fiction.
Okay. I found it.
Yeah, I have 2 series of fiction.
Okay.
That is book 2. Now I know, now that I said I found that one, I know I don't think I have book 1 in there, which is missing.
Here's
And
what I got.
It's missing, and the name of the book is missing.
Oh, really?
But this is it's a mystery, and since all of my books, seeing as even the Dark Knight series, it's New York City Police Department, with the exception of the Border Patrol, everything is pretty much New York City based, and my
Right.
fiction is also New York City based. And I find support, like even what Mark was saying before, I find it very, very important, because I know when I'm reading, I find it important that even though somebody who's reading this may be from some other part of the world and the names of streets and the landmarks mean nothing, but I make sure they're authentic.
Good
I'm
for
using
you.
the correct streets.
Good for
I'm
you,
using
even
the
in
correct
fiction.
landmarks. Yeah.
Good for you. Now tell me a little bit about The Last Day. The countdown has begun.
That's the other series. That's
this is
when
a
I
whole
say
series.
when I say series, it's both of those are 2 books. This one
These
is
two.
Missing and The Demon Within. It's a Finn Delaney New York City mystery.
Gotcha.
And this one, The Last Day, is also followed up with The Last Apostle. And this is a fictional work that deals with the New York City Police Department, Joint Terrorist Task Force, and FBI, and it's dealing with fictional, and again, New York City based, that's dealing with issues of anti-terrorism.
Right. And Impaired Driving, Shattered Lives?
This is very special to me. This is, I wrote this, and I don't really care if I'm the only one who reads it, and I very well may be the only person who's read it, but this is back in 2011, in December 2011, I was driving my daughter to school. She was a senior at Malloy College, not too far from here, and she was going to a final. And when we were on our way over there, an impaired driver, a guy who was high on cocaine, ran a red light at a high rate of speed and broadsided me. And I was in really bad shape, broken back, broken neck, all my ribs were broken, my hand was shattered. One of my, I still wear a brace on my leg, but when my daughter Megan was killed. And
Sorry.
so this was a, a very, very important thing for me to get that message out.
That is such an important message. Please, please do not get on the road impaired at all. Another award winner, so obviously somebody is reading this book.
I'll be reading it as well.
Let's
Thank
spread
you.
this one around.
Yes.
That's an important message. I am so sorry.
Thank you.
I'm just incredulous at your range here. We have the humor, we have the fiction, we have, I'll call them public service,
Okay.
and the most important,
Yes.
public service. Do you approach each one differently as a writer, or do you just feel a yearning and start writing?
Yeah, I approach see, the Dark Knight series and Sea Case, the stories are true. So the stories were there. I just had to put them down on paper the way that I felt like.
Right.
The fiction, I found that there was a lot more freedom, but it was a lot more challenging because I went against the idea of outlining all these books. I had them halfway, 3/4 of the way done. And I didn't know what the end was going to be yet. And where there's so much freedom in order to just make the characters perform the way I want to, but on the other hand, the story's not there for me. I have to come up with how this is how they're going to act, how they're going to react, and,
Right.
and how the story's going to go.
Did they ever surprise you while you were writing? Like, wow, I didn't think she was going to do that.
Well, not so much a specific, but I've turned from the beginning of a story, the whole dynamic of a person based on how the story's going. I'm saying, this person was meant to be a sympathetic figure, but he or she is really not. And as it goes along, I would change it like that.
Wow. Wow, I hear that from fiction writers all the time. I've never written fiction, but that people, as they're writing, change and morph and develop. You've had that happen.
Yes.
Now, you said you didn't actually know how the book was going to end.
I would get to a point where I'd say, all right, I had set this up for, either, for instance, either New York City is going to blow up in a nuclear explosion or it's not. And
Right.
And then if it's not, how am I going to end this with, does anybody get killed in this? Because I'm already thinking about a second book. I can't kill everybody off.
At least one person has to survive.
So it's, it becomes, you have to, I want the story to be as good as the story can be, but yet I have to be pragmatic about it and say, well, somebody's got to carry on. If I'm really thinking about, because that's the one thing also, and I should say that I, at least in all these different courses I've either read or taken, and that's really inspiration for Dark Knights, but saying how an author is usually much better off if they're not doing just a whole series of standalone books, if they're doing some kind of series.
Right.
So that's why when each of those works of fiction I did, I already had it in mind that there was going to be something
There's gonna
to
be
follow
more.
it up. Yeah.
I always think the way you were describing, I've decided there's going to be another one, so I can't kill everyone. The people who write screenplays, so which actors signed a contract? We have to keep those characters alive, The way you make decisions about things must be very interesting. I like this guy. I'm going to keep him around.
Yeah.
I like it. So what's next for you?
I'm not sure right now. I have some things sort of in notes where I should say I have something more than notes. I actually have about 10,000 words done, but I don't want to waste them, but I'm really thinking of going against what I just said about staying in a certain genre with
Right.
a series, and I might do a young adult work.
Oh, very nice.
I got about 10,000 words
All right.
that's got a message of anti-bullying in it, But again, that's far from finished, and I haven't touched that in a long time.
Well, when it's released, we'll keep your seat warm on the red
Okay,
couch
great.
here, okay? I would like an autograph for our Between the Covers library, if you don't mind, and we're going to take a break with our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Let's go. Just go. No, I've plans with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal we made.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. Yes, leave your beard, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy,
What?
Daddy! Daddy. Dash, Mommy.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Welcome back to Between the Covers. Thanks so much. Author Mark Torres is an attorney, and when he got tired of reading all those legal briefs, decided to write some fiction. How did that happen?
Well, I was struck by Robert's discussion earlier on how real life experiences shape us.
Yes.
And, it was a long journey. I started back in 1990 at New York University. I was an air conditioning helper and an engineer. I became a shop steward for the local union. I was very involved in all kinds of events. Then I went back to college, got my associates, then my bachelor's in history, of course. And then I went on to law school, and I thought the pain wasn't enough, so let's keep going. and what struck me is all along as I was doing this, I was working full-time, raising a family, had my two youngest in the last 2 years of law school, and it was a tremendous journey. And
I really do like pain.
And if people ask, if you don't have to do it, don't, but you could certainly do it. It's all in managing and planning and budgeting your time. And And what I realized is, you know, we talked earlier, you know, what is fiction? Is there ever really any fiction? It's something comes from somewhere you've seen, heard, lived, experienced. And I think that comes out in me and others as writers. We write kind of what we know, wherever it is, locked away in your memory somewhere.
That's right.
From an experience you've had in the past. So it was a long journey. I never sat down and said, I want to be an author one day. Much like I never sat down and said, I want to be a lawyer one day. It just kind of evolved into it.
It just kind of happened.
It just kind of happened. and I love what I do. I love legal writing. I represent a Teamsters union, Local 810, here in Queens and throughout the 5 boroughs. And I love what I do, you know, my day job. But there was more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to create. I wanted to teach. I wanted to express. And it evolved towards writing. I started writing a story. I had no idea to sit down and say, I'm going to be an author and write a book. It just started to happen. Right. And I realized I became a slave to that process and a slave to the story. And it came out. My first book, A Stirring in the North Fork, took 4 months to write.
Love that.
I was,
Great Long Island story here. Yes.
I was too naive to know how short that really is until the second book came along, which took almost 2 years.
And that's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, Gone with the Wind took 10. So, you know.
And there was a lot of ups and downs in that journey as well. And what I, again, reverted to was getting lost in my research and, you know, learning things and being accurate, like you were saying, Robert, being accurate to street names and locations and timelines. And, you know, it's important to stay accurate, and that's part of my conscience. So I wouldn't ask a reader to accept something just by me putting it out. It's going to be as real as it can. It's going to be vetted and properly released.
So you wrote your first one, and you just like pain a lot, so you kept going.
Yeah. well, in between, I'd written a children's book. It's called Good Guy Jake. It's targets for a young audience, young children. And it teaches a lot about what unions do. The story is it's
a union book for kids. You should have brought that. I've never seen a union book for kids.
I will. Yes, we'll follow up on it next time.
Absolutely.
And Good Guy Jake's a wonderful story where the sanitation worker, Teamster, of course, you know. The rule is when garbage trash is put to the curb, it's city property. You're not allowed to take it, remove it. Well, he was taking it, removing it, but fixing it up and donating it to a children's shelter. Unfortunately, he broke a city rule, so they fired him for it. Luckily, he was a union member, and then they went to arbitration to get his job back. And it was a heartwarming story that really kind of teaches what unions can do. And then when I go to schools and speak, in fact, my daughter's school I went to was in 5th grade at the time, and I read the book, and I asked them, do you think that Jake would have gotten his job back if he didn't belong to a union? They all said no. So the message was resonating at that young age, and that was important.
There is strength in numbers, absolutely.
And then I got reverted back to my new book, Adeline, which which came out July 1st.
Ah, congratulations! It is hot off the presses here.
Again, another labor of love. I've been promoting and touring, and you know, one thing I say is, you know. No, you are your own biggest advocate. You're going to put out your work. You're going to have to promote it. That first book, A Stirring, was pictured on all 7 continents within a year of its release.
All right, good for you.
And I'm trying to echo that with Adeline as well. And
well, as soon as you sent me this book, I was just captivated by this cover. Yes. I mean, I look at a lot of book covers all day, but this is a stunning cover. How did you come up with this?
Well, I credit my 100% credit goes to my daughter Olivia. She's here in the audience.
Wow.
I had asked her to come up with something, and mind you, she doesn't know the story because it's adult fiction, but she knew enough of it, and she created something that blew us away on the first take. When she showed us that, a few tweaks.
Do you see this cover? Olivia, if you need a job, we run a publishing company, and we put out a lot of books. They don't generally look this good. This is beautiful.
Thank you. And,
wow.
she's 11, so I'm really enjoying getting her involved in the process.
11, so there's those child labor laws. I better be good.
Well,
she's got a union. You got that.
And it's not all bad because she's already negotiating royalties. So
good for you. Good for you. There is the National Writers Union. I do a lot of work for them in their New York branch, so you should sign up.
I also credit my son Jake, who helps tremendously with the promotional work.
And your promotional work is every place. Even my friends say, when is that Mark Torres guy coming on? Because all I do is see him all over Facebook.
I mean, I have a belief, you want to get your work out, but you don't want to be bossy or
No,
onerous and say,
you're,
"Buy my
Jake,
book,"
you're doing a good job. You're not invasive, but
That's
you
what
are
it is.
everywhere.
You don't want to be invasive, and it's a fun way to get readers engaged and involved. And I get pictures, and
Absolutely.
I'm just thrilled, and I share them, and I'm happy to do that, and it keeps it as a fun process.
Yeah,
Um,
and just teaching them about business
Yes.
and
Yes.
marketing and labor unions.
Yes. And my oldest daughter, Isabella, she's not feeling well. She's home. She also helps, and my wife.
It's a
my wife,
family
Dahlia.
affair
It
doing
is.
this.
My
I love
wife
that.
we collaborate on stories, and her brutal honesty is what I need. It works. It doesn't work. Here's why. Here's why. And sometimes we have bitter debates over
Really?
it. Should it stay in or not? And ultimately, it comes out to a really refined process. And I really credit her on both books, because it really helps me develop as a writer as well. And she's pretty much taught me, and I keep perfecting. I think all writers can say, show, don't tell.
Yes.
That's an art that is so hard. It sounds simple. It is not. It is very difficult, and I continuously try to practice and develop and make it stronger. Show, don't tell.
Yeah, I know. I say that constantly to authors I'm working with. Is show, don't tell. Let's just get tattooed right across our heads or across our writing finger.
And I'm teaching that to my children, because we have this inherent belief that, the readers will get it. You'll get it. You're not supposed to be that way. You got to really
no.
break it down and simplify and explain and make them.
And you want them to
physically read it.
discover.
Yes.
You don't want to always tell your reader things. You want them to discover it for themselves, which is just such a journey. So what's next for you? I mean, you're busy promoting this.
Yes, I
mean,
will
this is-
eventually work on a sequel to this one. Savoy Graves, who's been in both books, and now his wife Lola continued through. And it's a wonderful connection I have. And in this book, Adeline, they're together, and there's a great connection. They have a lot of comedic relief. They ground each other, because these journeys for someone like Savoy Graves, is the lead protagonist, who's an attorney who turned detective. Kind of a
little
sleuth.
Sherlock Holmes kind of
and
thing
says,
going
"Let me
on,
just
yes.
investigate." These are difficult cases.
Oh
to settle.
goodness, this case was 40 years old.
Yes, and like
you
the
know.
first one, and this one here, it added the added additional element of terror. There's a secret society group that's in
Yes.
this group that does not want these secrets exposed.
Right.
So of course there's danger to it, and the average person just doesn't walk in and doesn't expect that, not have any danger. And
Exactly.
in this case, is there. I'm also considering, because again, I love history. I'm looking at other historical fictions, but time periods, whether
Okay.
it's 1800s, something as remote as Shelter Island, whether it's something out in Cutchogue, Long Island, wherever it could be, old stories that I'm kind of working on loosely, as well as considering other children's books as well to promote the youth and teach what we do. I saw a report just today, in fact, that the popularity in unions is gaining strength, and I feel like that's a great comfort, particularly in these tough economic and societal times.
Right, right. Now, as a history buff and as somebody who writes, kind of detective mystery thing, are there any historical things that are a mystery that you might want to write a book about?
Well,
I mean, we're talking like Amelia Earhart or something,
Well, yes. I mean, I have two, and I'll kind of keep those at bay because
Okay,
I'm still developing.
yep.
But I will say, though, in both these books, there are a lot of historical elements that are there.
Yes.
In the first book, Starting in the Norfolk, I mentioned the labor camps in Cutchogue in the 50s. A lot of people don't know those were really tough times. The farmers out there, terrible treatment of the workers, and it was just a really bad situation.
Yeah, so even, it's fiction, but you're learning the history of Long Island in reading it. And I was learning so much about history in reading this,
Yes.
about the history of what went on in different types of hospitals. And
Yes,
such.
the psychiatric treatment and facilities in New York State all the way up to the mid to late 90s was a very harrowing history. There was some good points, but mostly bad.
Mostly bad.
And even at the end, when they were closing, the development of medicines, Thorazine, that
Right.
enabled people to be treated at home, they literally bused patients to Times Square, dropped them off, and that was it.
And that was it.
And
No
that
support.
directly led to the increase in homelessness and prison population increase. So you see the connections there, and that's all factual and historical, and I think important to introduce in my work.
And it was important to read it. And, sometimes what you just said is, oh, that's kind of, boring to just see statistics. But to read the story, it makes it come alive. Here's why we have these issues.
Absolutely.
And once you really empathize with these characters, which, oh my gosh, did I empathize with those characters.
And also the misogynistic tones, the way women were treated in certain fields of work, and they still are treated poorly. In this book, it highlights some of that during the 70s, a young female medical examiner.
Yes.
I
I know.
It didn't work well for her, so it's important to kind of highlight that. And again, real life experiences, similar to what I do in labor and representing workers' rights, comes out of me and do the work.
I love that. Now, how do you find time? Kids, lawyer?
I'm a very situational writer. As I was saying earlier, when my daughter has art classes in the morning, I'm waiting in the car, I'll type away and write away, and I'll just, whatever I can. If I'm driving and I have a thought that pops in my head, I pull over, I'll call my office phone and leave a voice message. The worst thing in the world for a writer is to lose a good idea or a quote or something. Never do it. Stop what you're doing, write it down, email yourself, anything you can to memorialize it so you don't lose it.
Right.
And also, I work full time in the day and went to law school at night. I kind of find writing is quite easy compared to that. So just a matter of budgeting your time. That's
I
all.
get that. Well, I'm going to get an autograph, and we're going to hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back. I think I left my pen over there.
Let's go. Scum. No, I've plans with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. You guys leave your beer, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy,
What?
Daddy! Daddy. Dash, Mommy.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website www.redpenguinbooks.com.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Welcome back to Between the Covers. I am so delighted to have authors who are not only talented with us, but who have so many ideas and tips to share, because I know our viewers, they say 90% of the people polled want to write a book. So that means that 90% of our viewers are sitting there saying, tell me how to do it. What's the best tip you can give to get started? Because sometimes I think just getting started is so hard. What would you tell a new writer?
I always say, and I still say it, write without fear. You know, when you're writing, if it's you just start a journey, it's your own project. So there's no expectations looming over you and pressurize. It could take 4 months, or it could take 10 years, whatever it would be, but it's your work. But don't be deterred in stopping. And what I also would say is, when you're struggling, when you have the writer's block, when you have issues, go back to your research. Stick with your research. It helps you develop your story, and you come out on the other side a lot stronger, and a much better product comes out.
I like that. I like that. And what would you tell our young writers? Young, old, doesn't matter, but new writers.
I would probably say that I think the easiest starting point would be write what you know. Everybody knows something. Everybody is good at something. And pick something that you have knowledge of. Write something about it. And once you start, you see where that flows. But as Mark says, if you don't start, you're never gonna
Well,
finish.
that's true. You know, so many people, oh, I'm not going to finish forever. Well, you know, if you don't do anything, you're still going to get old. You know, you might as well start writing. Absolutely. One of the things I always tell new writers, and it's very much akin to yours, is, you know, keep moving forward. Don't keep self-editing. If you sit there and craft the sentence over and over and over and over and over until it's perfect, like you were saying about Write Without Fear, just keep going forward. Edit later. But while the floodgates are open, let them go, you know. But people get so caught up in, I don't know if I spelled that word right. It doesn't matter. Just keep going. Of course, our computers fix all of our spelling nowadays. But
I think you learn a lot each way. My first book, I was kind of hodgepodge, no outlining, just kind of, you know, a bunch of chapters scattered on the bed and trying to put them together. Second book, I was much more organized.
Okay.
And had it all set up through outlines. Of course, I had to make multiple changes, as it always is, but it was a little more streamlined. I think that was a little easier for me, because if you imagine on a Microsoft Word document and you scroll down, like, where's the next chapter? At least if you have an outline, it can help get you there faster, and then you can realize. And that I felt helpful. So you learn each step of the way. You learn to make the process better along with the writing.
so the next book will be done in what, like a month?
I have a very high bar. I wouldn't put something out that I'm not really thoroughly satisfied with.
I think that's fabulous.
It's important.
Absolutely fabulous. Well, in case grammar was the reason that's holding you back, we're having a little grammar quiz today. And we're going to see how we do, and we're going to see how our audience does. So, Bobby, let's look at our first slide on Test Your Grammar. Let's see if okay. Do we agree? Is our audience right? Is it B? Let's look at the answer. Question 2. They do get harder. Question number 2.
Gotta switch it up.
Are they right? Are they right? I got 2. 2 for 2. Let's see if they get harder. Question number 3. Oh, see, I threw them off. Is it A? Are they right?
Yes.
All right. Writers here, I love that. Okay, next question, number 4. Let's see, question number 4, and the answer is? And it's B. And then the real question is, and how many people in our audience lift weights and do a cardiovascular workout? and how many people, if I spelled cardiovascular workout wrong, wouldn't have really known? All right, question number 5. Our choices for question number 5. Neither of the players in the last game was injured, Or neither of the players in the last game were injured. Oh, I heard A, I heard B. Let's ask the pros on the couch.
Can you repeat it again? 'Cause I was leaning B, but I'm a little skeptical.
Neither of the players in the last game was injured, or neither of the players in the last game were injured.
I would say B.
We got a B.
I'll run it to the
I'm gonna
end.
say I think neither is singular.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a vote for B, a vote for A. Our audience is all over the place. And the answer is A. Ooh, I have to admit, when I was typing, I guessed B. And then the little voice in my head, which is my husband, because my husband corrects all of my stuff, thank God. And that kind of correction he makes constantly. And he keeps telling me, you have to make them agree. And I'm like, I don't know. I have Grammarly on my computer. Isn't that good enough? All right, last one. You don't get a point for that one, audience. Question number 6 is our last one. Let's see. Neither students nor their teacher is participating in this play, or neither students nor their teacher are participating in this play.
C.
C is a safe bet.
Well, we have a whole lot of votes for B. Let's look at the answer. Ooh. Ooh, we stumped our audience. Oh. Okay, so they got 4 right. One was half and half, and one they just blew it out of the water, man. A good case for why we all need editors. Absolutely, we all need editors. But when you're writing, don't keep editing because you'll never get done. You're going to be self-checking, and self-check, just keep moving forward and then pay somebody. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back to wrap up. Yeah, those.
Let's go. Let's go. No, I've plans with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. Yes, leave your beer, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy,
1.
Daddy! Daddy. Ash, Mommy.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website www.redpenguinbooks.com.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and Head Penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print book. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Welcome back. Welcome back to Between the Covers. Well, before we wrap up for the evening, I just want to make sure you know where to find our authors and read their fabulous books. Robert, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, or just Robert L. Bryan. On Amazon, also Robert L. Bryan, and my webpage is www.robertbryanauthor.com.
Terrific. And how about you? Where can we find you, Mark?
You'll find me.
Well, you'll find you all over Facebook because your son is fabulous.
Facebook, Twitter at mtorresauthor1, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram. And the book can be purchased through Amazon as well as ordered through Barnes & Noble, and it's published through Indie Owl Press.
Fantastic. And if you forgot all of that stuff, BetweenTheCoversTV.com has biographies, links to all of their stuff, and I'm going to ask our authors if they have any events coming up to please send them to us, that we'll be pushing them out on our own Facebook pages and web page so that you can keep up with our fabulous authors. So please read these books. They're terrific. Please read and enjoy your evening. Thanks for joining us.